Today I want to talk about Oklahoma's demonstrative win against Texas Tech and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on Step Mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Oklahoma's 62-28 win against Texas Tech in Lubbock earlier tonight. I was at work on ESPN Radio's Game Night with Jeff Dickerson, talking for about 3 hours about college football, the NFL, and the like. And this game is not really high on the radar for a lot of people, as number 24 Oklahoma versus Texas Tech doesn't actually do it for some folks, especially in a Big 12 where it does not feel like we're going to have a college football playoff representative from this conference once again, which is another way of saying that Oklahoma ain't going to be in the college football playoff. But it was nice to see Oklahoma go out and do the kinds of things that we're used to Oklahoma doing the last 3 years, quite honestly, under Lincoln Riley, which is asserting your will and going and getting buckets. As a matter of fact, Spencer Rattler said in the post game that he told the team last night, it's time to go out and embarrass somebody. And that's exactly what they did. This game was tied at 7, 5:31 left in the first quarter, and that was the last time that Texas Tech looked anything like competitive in it. Trey Norwood had an outstanding game, flying all over the field, and I think that might end up being his position from here on out. And how nice was it to see the defense get takeaways? I made a joke during the game that Oklahoma only needed 76 more takeaways to get to Alex Grinch's desired number for the season. But to see that defense absolutely T-fy on a first-year starting quarterback who was only in his second start of his career at Texas Tech in Henry Colombi was nice. You also got to see the defensive backs actually fly around, make some plays, stay out of trouble, and help Oklahoma extend this lead as Oklahoma's going to move up in the rankings, as we saw some really wild upsets earlier today. TJ Pledger started out the day doing really good work, but then we get Ramondre Stevenson coming back with Ronnie Perkins coming back. Ramondre Stevenson, unlike Texas, he is back, lifting up his shirt, tell everybody what's really good, and absolutely looking like the kind of guy who did lead college football in average yards per carry at over 8 last year among running backs that got at least 50 rush attempts. For perspective there, Travis Etienne's averaged over 7 yards per carry. So Ramondre Stevenson, who was the number 1 junior college running back in the country when he committed and signed with Oklahoma, getting back, not only adds another healthy back in this already depleted backfield, but gives you back your best running back in this depleted backfield. Also, full credit to Ronnie Perkins, who was coming out there and looked the part and played the part, and it showed how much better Oklahoma can be when they have something like a full assortment. Now, Trajan Bridges was not there and did not play, but you can see how much better it felt for Oklahoma to have those guys. Watching Spencer Rattler continue to hook up with Austin Stogner was a lot of fun. Marvin Mims being able to be your dominant wide receiver so quickly and so early in his career has also been a godsend in a game where you don't have Charleston Rambo, right? Rambo has not had the best season, but some of that is due to Marvin Mims and the way that he's come on here late. I made this point last week, and I'll continue to make this point. I don't know that Dennis Simmons is getting enough credit for his wide receiver development. Going back to 2015, he's had Dede Westbrook, who was not only a unanimous All-American, but a Heisman finalist at wide receiver. He's helped develop guys like Hollywood Brown. He has developed dudes like CeeDee Lamb. He can take them from JUCO. He can take them out of high school. It doesn't matter. The outside receivers coach is absolutely getting it in. And by 11:55 left in the second quarter, 35-7, Oklahoma is up. And this game is well and truly out of reach. And by halftime, it's 48-14 that Oklahoma leads in Lubbock, as you threw the kitchen sink at Texas Tech, a team that beat West Virginia, the same West Virginia team that just beat Kansas State. West Virginia right now in the power rankings feels like perhaps the second best team in the Big 12 conference. You can make an argument that Oklahoma, Texas, or Oklahoma State occupies that number 1 spot. Iowa State would also argue with you, especially after putting up over 50 on Kansas earlier today, even though it is Kansas. And the more I look at what this Oklahoma team is capable of, you also have to feel good about the road to the Big 12 championship still going through Oklahoma, and Oklahoma has still an opportunity to pick up a 6th consecutive Big 12 title. Rattler goes 21 of 30 for 288 with 2 touchdowns. Ramondre, 13 carries for 87 yards with 3 touchdowns, and Theo Weiss coming on late with 5 catches for 105 yards. I also got to just give a nod to 62-28, 63-28 LSU final in the college football playoff last year in the Peach Bowl. Look, there's not a whole lot else to say about beating up on a Texas Tech team like this. There is something to say about what Oklahoma has left on its schedule, right? So after taking the 2 losses in Big 12 play to Kansas State and Iowa State, you got a 4 overtime win, put up over 50 against Texas, a really outstanding one-sided win against Texas Christian, followed by another against Texas Tech. You're going to beat up on Kansas next week in a ho-hum 2:30 game. Then it's Bedlam. That's a big one, right? Because Oklahoma State's going to want to get up for that. Maybe not as much as they were before losing to Texas earlier today, but it's certainly going to be the kind of game that Oklahoma State thinks they can win, because I believe that Oklahoma State has the best defense in this entire conference, and it was on display against Texas. If they don't turn the ball over 4 times, they win that football game. And then you get a West Virginia team that is sound, that has an identity with Jared Dagey and Sam James out there who can make plays. He can also get you in trouble, and a defense that is bend but doesn't break. And then a Baylor team that has come off the rails completely. This day against Texas Christian was actually all of that come together. I'm really excited about that staff, but they're going to have to figure this thing out, and I don't see how they're actually going to come up with something that is worthwhile here by the time they got to face an Oklahoma team that's going to want nothing more than to run roughshod over Baylor into what it hopes is a Big 12 championship. I'm amazed at how Oklahoma still has the opportunity to win this podunk league, even as we're playing for a New Year's Six Bowl right now, and everybody knows it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, especially in a 2020 season where I didn't expect Oklahoma to be a world beater and where COVID has made everything just unreal in a way that has never been done in college football. Even in 1918 Spanish flu pandemic doesn't have anything on some of the things that all of us are dealing with today. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.